Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to do multiplication of numbers in other bases than base 10. I'll be explaining this using the exercises on the screen. Let's look at the solutions to these exercises. Number 1, 402 base 5 multiplied by 13 base 5. The first thing to do is to arrange this number on top of each other, preferably the one with larger number of digits, then followed by the one with the smaller number of digits. 402 will be on top and 13 will be below, and they are both in base 5. We are multiplying them. Now, if you want to do this multiplication, the first thing you do is to take the number on the far right, 3 in this case, and use it to multiply each of the digits in the number on top. While you are multiplying that, there is some divisions that you'll be doing which may be strange to you, because compared to numbers in base 10, it's slightly different the way we do it. So let's go through this. Let's continue doing this example so that I can explain better. Now we're going to use 3 to multiply each of those numbers. Let's start with 2. 3 times 2, that is equals to 6. But instead of us to write 6 down here, what we are going to do is to divide it by the base in which we are doing the operation. So 3 times 2 divided by 5. Okay, and this is going to be 1, remainder 1. What we are going to write down here is the remainder, which is 1. This is the remainder we write down here, 1. Okay, this one that is here, just don't forget about it. Keep it. We're going to use it next. Let's move to the second digit, 0. 3 times 0, that is 0, right? Plus this one that we kept here. Okay, that will be equals to 1. Okay, so you write the 1 here. Okay, now let's move to the third digit, which is 4. 3 times 4 is equals to 12. Instead of us to write 12 here, what we do is we divide 12 by 5. That is the base in which we are doing the operation, right? So this is going to give us 2, remainder 2. The reason why it is 2 remainder 2 is this: 12 divided by 5, that will be 2, times 5, that will be 10. Okay, so remainder, that's why it's remainder 2, because 12 minus 10 is 2. Okay, now what we're going to write down here is the remainder, which is 2. Okay, now this 2 here, we're going to hold it, and we're going to use it in the next multiplication. And since there is no number here for us to multiply with 3, we are going to write the 2 there. Okay, So we are done with the multiplication of this first digit, which is 3, with the numbers on top, with the digits on top. Okay, now let's move to the next digit, which is 1. Okay, now let's start with multiplying 1 by 2. 1 times 2 is equals to 2. Okay, since 2 is not up to 5, we don't need to divide it by 5. We are going to write 2. And take note that the 2 that I'm writing will be directly below the number of the lower, will be directly below the digits, the current digit that we are using of the lower number. Okay, so that is why I write it here. Take note that I don't write it here. Okay, now the next thing is, the next digits that we are going to multiply 1 with is 0. Okay, 1 times 0, that is equals to 0. And because that is less than 5, we don't need to divide it by 5. Okay, so we're just going to write it here, 0. Okay, now the next digit that we are going to take care of is 4. 1 times 4, that is equals to 4. And because 4 is less than 5, the same thing that we did, because 4 is less than 5, what we did when we were doing for 3 here, we are not going to do it for 4, because 4 is less than 5. So therefore 1 times 4 is equals to 4. So we're just going to write it here, 4. Okay, now we are done with multiplying 1 with all the digits of the number on top. The next thing we're going to do is, since there is no digits left for us to use to multiply each of the digits of the number on top, the next thing we are going to do is to sum these numbers that we have written here. Okay, and for us to sum it up, we're going to start from the right. You can watch my videos on addition of numbers in other bases than base 10. Okay, and take note that all these numbers are still in base 5. Okay, now let's do the addition. 1 plus, what is here is 0, of course. 1 plus 0, that's will be equals to 1. And because 1 is less than 5, we are now going to do additional operation on that. So we just bring it down, we write it there, 1. Okay, now let's move to the next column of numbers, which is, now let's move to the next column of numbers, which is 1 plus 2, that is equals to 3. And since 3 is less than the base that we are dealing with, which is 5, we're going to write 3 here. Okay, let's move to the next column of numbers. 2 plus 0, that is 2. Because 2 is less than 5, we're going to write 2 there. Okay, let's move to the next column. 2 plus 4, that is 6 whole. Because 6 is greater than 5, we're not going to write 6 here, because any number that we are going to write for this base 5 must not be up to 5. It must be less than 5. Okay, so what we get now is 2 plus 4, which is 6. We're not going to write it down here. What we're going to do is to divide it by 5, which is the base in which we are working. Okay, and this is going to give us 1, remainder 1. Okay, what we're going to write down there is 1. Okay, we keep the 1 here. We're going to use it in the next digit, in the next column of numbers. And as we have it, there is no other columns after this 2 and 4. So therefore, we are going to write this 1 that we kept here. Just write it here. So this is our final answer. And don't forget that this is in base 5. Therefore, 402 times 13, all in base 5, is equals to 11231 base 5. Okay, that's our final answer. Let us look at the next example. Number 2, 48 base 12 multiplied by 15 base 12. Okay, so the first thing we do is to arrange this number on top of each other. 48 multiplied by 15, all in base 12. Okay, now like we did here, we start from our far right with the digits at the on the right. We're going to use it to multiply each of the digits of the numbers on top. Okay, if we start with 5, we multiply by 8. That is equals to 40. But we're not going to write 0 here because we are dealing in base 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide 40 by 12. And what we're going to get is 3, which is 36. 12 times 3 is 36, which, and 40 minus 36 is 4. So remainder 4. What we're going to write down here is 4. We'll carry this 3 and keep it. We use it in the next operation. And the next operation is 5 multiplied by 4, which is equals to 20. Okay, plus 3. That will be equals to 23. Okay, and because 23 is greater than 12, we're not going to write 23 down. What we're going to do is to divide it by 12. So that will be 23 divided by 12. And what we're going to get is 1. 1 times 12 is 12. 23 minus 12 is equals to 11. So remainder 11. Okay. Now, what we're going to write down here is not 11. Although we are going to write something that represents 11. And in base 12, 11 is represented by letter B. So what we are going to write down here is letter B. Okay. But don't forget that there's this 1 that we keep here. And what are we going to do with it? We're going to use it in the next operation. And as it is now, there is no other operation left. In that case, we are going to write the 1 here. So that will be 1b4. And recall that b in base 12 means 11. Okay, take note of that because we are going to use it in a subsequent mathematical operation in base 12. Now, having multiplied 5 with each of the digits of the number on top of it, we're going to move to the next digit, which is 1. Okay, now we're going to use this 1 to multiply each of the digits of the number on top, and we're going to start with number 8. 1 times 8, that is equals to 8. And since that is less than 12, we don't need to divide it by 12. What we're going to do is to write down 8. But Where are we going to write it? We are not going to start here. We're going to move a step to the left of where we started in the previous multiplication. Okay, so we're going to move a step to the left, and that step to the left, it will be under the letter B, and we're going to write our 8 there. Okay, we move to the next digit, which is 4. We're going to multiply our current digit in the lower number with the next digit on top. And you know that the next digit is the digit to the left of the first digit that we use. And that will be 4. 1 times 4 is equals to 4. And since 4 is less than 12, we are not going to divide it by 12. What we are going to do is to write it down there. Okay. Now, since we are done with multiplying each of the digits of the numbers with one another, the next thing to do is to add these numbers together. Now, let's do the addition. I'll still refer you back to my tutorial on addition of numbers in other bases. That will help you to understand the addition that we're going to do here. I'll try as much as possible to explain it for you to understand. Okay, now let's do the addition here. 4 plus null, which is 0. Okay, 4 plus 0 will be equals to 4. And since 4 is less than 12, we are just going to write it down there. Okay, we are not going to do any further operation. If it is equals to or greater than 12, that's the base in which we are working. That's when we are going to divide it by 12. Okay, we move to the next column, which is b plus 8. Recall that b is equals to 11 in base 12. Okay, so it will therefore mean 11 plus 8, that is equals to 19. All right, and because 19 is greater than 12, we're going to divide 19 by 12. Okay, and that will be equals to 1, remainder 7. Okay, so we're going to write down the remainder here, which is 7, and keep the 1 here for the next operation. Okay, now let's move to the next operation. The next operation is 1 plus 4, that is 5. Okay, plus the one that we kept here, which is 1. 5 plus 1, that will be equals to 6. And we're going to, because 6 is less than 12, we're going to write down 6 here. We don't need to divide it by 12. Let's move to the next one. Oh, there is no other number left. Therefore, our answer, final answer, will be 674 base 12. Don't forget that we are dealing in base 12. And in conclusion, 48 base 12 multiplied by 15 base 12 is equals to 674 base 12. And this is our final answer. If you're watching this video and you enjoy it, kindly like, subscribe to my channel. And when you click the subscription button and you subscribe, you see the alert, you see the bell icon that comes up, and that is the alert bell. Click it for you to get notified when I make new videos. And don't forget to share with friends for them to benefit. Until I see you in my next video, thank you for watching, and bye bye.